You're not alone. I hope you know that you're not alone. I knew I was not alone because a couple of days ago I received some gifts. I'm wearing one of them. You're not alone because during this season, Jesus was born not just to give us what we call salvation, eternal life, to become our Prince of Peace. Jesus came to do life with us. He's not somebody out in platform, on pedestal for us to just worship. That's not who Jesus is. He came in addition to that to do life with us. So you're never alone if you accept Him. Yes, when we go through some tough times, even though we are believers, we know who Jesus is, we feel like He's not in your life. He is always in your life. That's what you need to remember. Just to make a record straight, last week I gave a message on this particular life and how our design firm, our commitment to our clients and our employee is not that your business is our life, that we try to live very hard so that our attitude, our behavior to one another is that your life is our business. Our company exists to make your life better. Our company exists to make you employees better. That's the way in which our company strives to do. And I showed a video clip, and after the video clip, lots of people came over to me and says, "Where did you get that video clip?" I thought you guys got it. We made it. So that to emphasize to our employees and everybody that this is what we will do in our company. That's the film, that's the video clip that we show to our employee. That's who we are. This is the reason why we do what we do. We may sound a little different than other organizations because we're not just interested in your business, we're interested in your life. So all the setting was done in the church, in the our company, which is just right the other side of this wall, and it's just they just use the character casting people, the different people whom you may not know. The message of today is about seeking His favor. When you do life together, you get to know about people's behaviors and attitudes. And usually that results in one person favoring over somebody else. And you may say, well, that's not right. Well, favoritism is not right. But finding favor from others is something that we should be striving for. Because God says, seek your face. That's exactly what it means, seek His favor. As we do life together. About a month ago, someone came over to see me. I know this person. He's a really nice guy, kind of sweet kind of guy. But I have always felt there's something missing in his life. I don't know what it is, just something was missing in his life. Should I say that he doesn't really stand out? He's just simply kind of nice. He's very honest guy. He's God-loving person. He seems very humble. He's definitely a family man. He loves kids. It's something that every woman would want to have in a man. And he was not a really bad-looking guy either. So he comes to see me. But since I know this guy, so I agreed to see him. But I know something about him. I don't really know a whole lot, but something about him that gives me the feeling that he's just simply basically a yes man. Just yes man. He does not initiate anything. He doesn't seem to take anything seriously. Just a nice guy. So I haven't seen him for a while. And because of that, I'm not really that close to him, but I just know of him. So he called me that month ago. He tried to make an appointment. He knows I guess I'm kind of busy, He was very careful. He tried to approach me, make an appointment. So I emailed him, okay, here's 2 dates you can come see me. He says he can't make those dates. He wants to see me. Out of blue, I gave him 2 dates. He said he can't see me. So I said to email, I said, okay, well, when can you see me? Which week? He says, this week. Just this week. Okay, you see something's missing here? This week. So I said, well, that week, I'm available this date and this date at this time. He says, well, I really can't make those dates either. Can you change the date, that date to, it's okay, but can you change the time? I said, sure. I changed the time for him. So he came to see me. On the day he came to see me, guess what? He was 30 minutes late. And he walks into my office, escorted by somebody else, and says, I'm just keeping my cool, because I got meeting after meeting, and 30 minutes means like I have to, bump somebody else, or, So we're saying, okay, he says, I didn't tell him it's late, but he says, well, how come you're together? Somebody asked him. Well, he was sitting at a church lobby, and for about 30 minutes, I asked some stranger because if I felt this guy is somebody that was related to you, Tim. I've seen him before somewhere. I'm not so sure, but because it's a daycare, I have to make sure it's the right person. So we had to approach him and say, who are you here for, to make sure it's just secure for the baby, a daycare. Well, he's here to see Pastor Tim. Well, this is not his office. This is the lobby of a church. So anyway, the person asked him to see me. So I asked him, why is the reason for coming to see me? Well, I said, I've been working for many different companies. So he's had to change jobs several times. And I think I'm really good at what I do. I'm doing a good job. And I know I'm a decent person. But I just feel that there's something missing in my life. I just don't know what it is. Nobody takes me seriously at the office. And in fact, I'm like nobody. I don't even exist in that organization. I don't know what it is. So I just thought I came here to see you. Maybe you can shed some light. Now, how do you consult somebody who asks you that question? Well, I have this good habit that whenever people come and ask me a question to consult, because usually you don't always have an answer. And I learned over the years, when someone asks me, I just pray at the same time the person is asking. So usually the question may last about 10 seconds or 30 seconds or 1 minute. I am praying really hard with my eyes open, looking at the kid. God, you better give me some answer by the time he's finished with the questions. And usually God does. It's out of blue. So he says, what do I do? Can you shed some light? And he finished asking question. I asked him, do you show up to your office meetings on time? And he looked at me as if, like, what kind of stupid question is this? He really had that look, even though he was a nice guy. And he was, why are you asking me all these irrelevant questions? Then he kind of hesitated. He saw the seriousness in my face. Then he responded, well, pretty much. And I responded, that is why. He said, what? And we used to see him. He says, what? And I responded, you see, when you show up on time, you're late. He said, what? Yes. You are not seeing clients. You're in the office, which means you're doing life together with your employees, your coworkers, right? Yes. If you really care for that person, you will show up on time. Well, I do. No. On time means you got to be there 5 minutes or 10 minutes early. Demonstrate the fact that you care for the meeting. Tell them that you're prepared, that you're not rushing. Now, how many meetings do you do a day? Well, at least 1 or 2. Well, you see, that's like 5 to 100 meetings that you're doing a year with your coworkers. Don't you think over 1 year period, they have noticed about your attitude and your behavior? Which speaks louder, your qualification, you went to such school, you had such grades that you know somebody, or is it the way you behave over the 500 meetings? It speaks so loud as to whether you're prepared, whether you care for the meeting, or you even take seriously for the meeting. He said, well, I guess you're right. I'm usually late to the meeting. I'm always rushing to the meeting. And I thought that as long as I show up to the meeting and get things done, whatever they told me, I thought I was fine. Well, that's exactly who you are. You just do the things that the people tell you to do, but they don't take you seriously. And I told them at the end, this applies to all aspects of your life, that church life. I'm sure some of you are saying, oops. That's your personal life. I'm sure you're saying, ooh. This applies to your family life. This applies to relationship. How the relationship that you have, people, friends in the church, how many times do you get together? Over 1 year, 2 years? Hundreds of times. You don't have to speak a word to demonstrate to the other who you are, your behavior, your attitude towards one another. God is watching us, so as your friends and your coworkers. That's how you are found favored by a person or not. There are so many aspects in our life where our unspoken attitude towards others matters, and that will determine whether you are favored or not. Too many people think that it's all about qualifications. Yes, qualifications will get to the door, but not always the favor that we're seeking. Lesson learned is this: just because you love God, just because you are a yes and obedient person to God, just because you are a nice guy, just because you believe in God, just because you come to church and all the church meetings and services, that does not mean that your life is going to go well for you and that God is going to find you in favor. Period. You have to seek His face. You have to seek His favor. You have to seek your friend's favor. Do you know what most people do at this time? Instead of realizing that they need to seek God's face, you know what they do? They blame on others. Ouch. You hear? Do you guys, your heart beating a little faster here? They blame on discrimination. They blame on circumstances. They never think about their attitude and their behaviors. They do not think about their motivations. They do not see how God finds one's favor. The book of Proverbs that we've been studying for the whole entire year, which is the essence of Jesus Christ Himself, is about how we can be found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Simple as that. When you say, I love the Lord, I believe in God, and you don't seek His face, you're just putting Him in the pedestal. Yeah, I like that guy over there. It's not in your life. He wants to do the life with you, but you are not doing the life. What you're really doing is you're just doing His business. Oh, Jesus is about forgiveness. Yeah, when I need Him, I'm just going to reach out to Him and shower that His grace over onto the other person that needs forgiveness. You're using Him, and that's a business, guys. God came to us to do life with one another. He wants to do life with you, so you're never alone. So how important is this? Well, before we get into our chapter 27, that's what we're on today. We study from chapter 1 to 26, now we're to 27. Before we do that, I want to show you the importance of being found favor in the eyes of the Lord. Just about all the godly men and women saw God's face, saw God's favor. How do we know that? Let's go down the list. Everybody knows Moses, right? When you read Bible about Moses, each and every time Moses prayed to God, do you know how he started his prayer? How we pray? Our God in heaven, thank you so much. Okay, that's how we begin, right? If you look at the Bible, the way he starts his prayer is this: if you are pleased with me, O God, teach me your ways so that I may know you and continue to find what? Favor. Just because you gave your life to Jesus and He's just going to just give you all that. No. You also have to be found favor by God through your attitude and your actions and things that you do with the behaviors. Even Moses started to do it. He was a handpicked guy. But he had to seek God's face each and every time for God to show him the way of life. And the one I just read is from NIV, but Amplified Version, which I love it even better. He says, now therefore, God, I pray you right now, if, there's always, there's if is very critical. If, Moses is admitting that if you disagree with me, it's okay, I get it, that you're not going to grant me this. He says, if I have found favor in your sight, show me, God, now your way. Because Moses wants to know direction. He wants to know whether I should go this way, I should go this way. He wants that answer from God. But when he answered, he didn't just say, God, show me the way. He didn't just demand. He says, if I have found favor in your sight, then God, show me the way. And then that's not what he stops. It's like it's just like circle. Then he says, and that I may find favor in your sight. So if I'm found favor, God's going to show the way, and He's going to continue to find the favor. That's even more clear than the first one. If you're pleased with me, teach me your way so that I may know you and continue to find favor with you, Lord. That's the attitude, and that's the behavior that God is talking about. Well, Moses wasn't the only one, guys. Just about every godly man and woman did the exact same thing. They used the same phrase. That's so important, using the same phrase. Remember I talked about back then, several years ago, when I talked about the rock, the importance of rock. The word rock is just rock. It's like worthless rock out there. It's everywhere. But rock, you build your life with rock instead of brick. Brick is man-made. God says, don't build your life with a brick. It looks good in the beginning. It looks like a nice building block for the buildings. But it ain't going to last too long. Maybe 200 years. But if you want your building to last long, long time, forever, God says very specifically, Genesis, to build on rock, because rock is something that God made and is everlasting. So, Moses wasn't the only one. Abraham, Ruth, and Nehemiah, they're all godly men and women. They did amazing work of God. God didn't use them just for no reason. God used them because he found favor in them. Abraham, for example, he was promised by God that his wife, who is 90 years old, was going to have a son. He had no idea, but God didn't tell him exactly when and how. But he wanted the son so bad. One day, 3 men appeared from the heaven, which represented God, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. It's very clear in the Bible. I'm not going to get into this. It's not part of the message. It's a very exciting part. 3 men, the Trinity came down, appeared before Abraham. And Abraham wrestles with these 3 men and saying, you are not leaving me until you bless me, you with the son. He said, you know what he said? In looking at those persons, God, divine human body, he says, if I have found favor in your eyes, Lord, my Lord, do not pass your servant. Because the 3 men were about to walk by. If you have found favor in your eyes, please don't pass by me. Bless me before you go. There was condition. He knew the importance of being found favor. Abraham used the magic word, if I have found favor in your eyes. Okay. Some question to young people. Young people want to go to Disney World. Dad, can we go to Disney World? That's what 99% of the kids say. Not my kids, right? My kids always says, Dad, if you found favor in your eyes, take me to Disney World. That's how they say it. Why are you laughing, Juliana? She didn't get it. Wouldn't it be so nice if you go to business, and you go to office, you're not getting promoted, okay? And you don't even care about promotion. Right? You just want some raise because it's a little tight. You know, it's been like almost 1-2 years without raise due to the economy or whatever. You just need a little extra. And then when you were walking up to the boss, can you say, boss, if you found favor in your eyes, can you give me some raise? If you can say that, I am sure you'll get the raise. But most of the people say, I don't think I can say that. Because when you are in a position to ask for raise, the other person has not seen you favored. I'm sorry to say that's what it is. Because you have to understand the boss, most of the boss, not all, most of the boss have a very much interest in you. Because if you do a great job, they want to keep you, they want to keep you happy. But if you're paying to him, why? Why? There's no reason to. And usually the people who are paying are the ones always asking for raise. The other person already given the raise. Because they cannot say, if, boss, I'm found favor in your eyesight. They can't say that. Ruth was exactly the same thing. Ruth was the great-grandmother of David. So Ruth is a very important figure in the Bible. It's very related to David. The same chain, the same line of Jesus. She became widow. Her mother-in-law wanted to go back to Bethlehem, even though their homeland is Moab. Ruth decided to go with her mother-in-law to Bethlehem, saying, your people will be my people, and your God, my God. And whatever reason, maybe because of that, she goes and meets this rich and godly man named Boaz. And Boaz says to Ruth, May the Lord repay you for what you have done. May you richly rewarded by Lord, the God of Israel, under whose wings you have come to take refuge. To which she replied. Ruth chapter 2, verse 13. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord. See, this godly man and woman, it's all about when attitude, behavior is, am I pleasing God? Am I seeking God's face? Am I finding favor through these actions that I'm going to take? That's why God used them. Nehemiah, not going into the details, but when he came out of the 70 years of exile from Babylon, and they found the walls of Jerusalem totally broken down, burned with a fire, and he just wept and prayed. You know how he prayed? Then I prayed to the God of heaven, and I answered the king, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in his sight, let him send me the city in Judah where my fathers are buried so that I can rebuild it. And God listened to that prayer and allow the building to be built in 52 days, only 52 days. Same phrase, if I am found favor in your sight. Well, I said, it's not them only. There are more. God said the same of Noah. Go read the Bible. Jacob, same thing. He said, if I have found favor in your eyes, accept this gift from me. Jacob. Joseph, God said of the same thing. Gideon said the same phrase to God. If now I have found favor in your eyes, give me a sign that is really you talking to me. Do you guys get this? This godly man and woman that you guys have been studying all your life in the Bible, they use the same phrase. There's something very significant about this. Gideon said the same thing. David, exact same words. And Esther. Well, maybe Esther didn't say that. Of course she did. Esther, who's known as, if I die, is that what it was? If I perish, I perish. I know you know her, that famous phrase, but she had another phrase that she uses all the time with God. What was that? That's what she used to save her people. If I have found favor with you, all king, and if it pleases your majesty, grant me my life and spare my people. The idea is to get ahead. We need to be found favor by the people around you and by God. And that is doing life. So today's message, chapter 27, having said all that, sounds a little different, but I wanted to teach you it's the same thing. Chapter 27, verse 1-2 says, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what a day may bring forth. Verse 2, let another praise you and not your own mouth, someone else, and not your own lips. No matter how good you are, if you are consistently late to meetings, as simple as that, they are not going to take you seriously because you are not taking them seriously. You will not be found favor in your neighbor's sight. So what is this verse has anything to do with finding favor from God or not? Very important. I'm using this person as metaphor to say something's missing in his life, even though he's a great guy. Just one little thing that he's unconsciously doing, causing the people around him to dismiss him, not found favor. In our walk with Christ, our walk with God, is the same thing. There are so many things that we do unconsciously that causes God to think he is still missing something. She is still missing something. We studied, and you agreed, that all hurts, all insecurity, all greed and jealousy and disappointments that in our lives that we face comes from one source. Let me say this again. All the hurts that you're having right now, insecurity that you're feeling right now, the greed that you are just having right now, jealousy, and the disappointment you're facing, it all comes from one thing. You know what the one thing is? When we try to make name for ourselves. All those things that hurts us comes from that particular source. Disappointment comes because someone is trying to make a name for themselves. Greed comes because someone is trying to make a name for themselves. Insecurity comes because someone is trying to make a name for themselves. You got hurt because somebody tried to make a name for themselves. That's the source of it all. And Bible takes this thing very, very seriously. God takes this so seriously, he decided to come down on earth. When was the last time God came down on earth? I mean himself, like, I am going to go down there. Okay, not Jesus. He came down, okay? He said, I'm going to go down there. He did. When was the last time that you know in the Bible, other than prophets and other than that three guys I just mentioned, okay? I mean, literally coming down. It was the time of the Tower of Babel. God says specifically, let us go down there. Why? Because the people were trying to make this Tower of Babel so tall. Why? Bible says clearly, let us do this so that we can make a name for themselves. And I know you guys, we're a little more sophisticated. We don't say it, but in the heart, say the same thing. I am going to go for that so I can make a name for myself. And God says, I don't like it. You guys are trying to build this amazing tower to make your name for yourselves. I don't like it. And that's when he says, I am coming down to earth, and I'm going to destroy it, and he did. That was the warning. You kind of wish that Jesus came down and forgive us all, but at that time it was just a warning. But ever since then, until Jesus came, people didn't follow or him seriously, or took him seriously, so Jesus had to come down to now really save us. Okay. The point is that making name for ourselves is a serious offense to God. You know why? Again, what are the 5, 6, and 7 things that God detests the most? I mean, God said, like, don't do this, don't do this. He says a lot, but he was very specific in the Proverbs 6. I told you all this. I even gave you 10 commandments and all that. There are 6 things that I hate and 7 things that are detestable to me. I mean, how strong is that? Haughty eyes, lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, heart that devises wicked schemes, feet that are quick to rush into evil, false witness who pours out lies, a man who stirs up dissension among brothers. I don't know what you think. If you understand English, to me, all that comes from as a result of trying to make a name for yourself. Are you in agreement with me on that? Absolutely. 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 It's the same. The verse 27. Do not boast about tomorrow. It's the same thing. When you're boasting about tomorrow, you're trying to make a name for yourself. Just think hard. Think hard. I'm going to do this. Why are you saying I am going to do this? Because you want people to say, whoa, trying to make a name for yourself. I said this before, but I'll say it again. What are you going to be when you grow up? I want to be lawyer. I want to be architect. I want to be accountant. I want to be doctor. If you as a parent are seeding this kind of notion to your children, you're only breeding them the idea of it's okay to go make a name for yourself. And God doesn't like it. So what did I say? We said, when somebody asks what you want to become, never describe it with a noun, but describe it with a verb. Same kind of thing, but a totally different attitude, totally different behavior. If you want to be a doctor, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want to be a doctor. Don't say that. Say, I want to heal people. God will find the favor in you. Not only that, when you say, I want to heal people, you're only a high school student, you know what you do? You will be healing people even as a high school student, even though you're not a medical doctor. But if you say, I'm going to be a doctor, you know what you're going to do from the time you're in high school until you actually become that huge, say, 10 years of your life. What kind of life do you think you'll live? You live that 10 years of your life trying to make a name for yourself unconsciously. And the God can see that, and the people around you will see that too. It's like this guy, something's missing in his life or her life. Just like the guy who came to visit. He doesn't know it. When I explained to you kind of got it, he was missing something. And God is saying the same thing. I love you guys, and I know you love me, but you are missing something. It says, do not boast about tomorrow, for you do not know what they may bring forth. Let another praise you, and not your own mouth, someone else, and not your own lips. It's like me advising that young man, are you showing up to meeting on time? He's facing the meetings 500-600 times a year at his workplace. If we continue to do life together, and we continue to try to boast about tomorrow, continue to say, this is what I did, this is what I did, and you do this 500 and 600 times a year to your people around you, they have already labeled you. They will call you friend, but they have already labeled you. When I often talk about, when people ask me, tell me what's your plan? And I say, I have a plan. I know most of you know, but I'm about to talk about, what do you have a plan? What's your plan? I say, I have a plan. They are eager to hear what I have to say. My plan is to have no plan. And they're like, huh? Because I want to make sure that I'm not going to miss something. Because I want to get that which I don't have. I don't want to create insecurity, greed, and jealousy and disappointments, because that's what only thing that's going to bring. If I plan for my life, I didn't live that long, but I lived long enough to find out that. But if you are seeking His face, if you're seeking His favor, life is different. Life is different because God always gives you the way, the next step. That's the prayer of Moses. If I am found favor in your sight, then show me the way. And that's where Moses lived. That's where all the godly men and women in the Bible live. Let that phrase be part of your prayer. Let that phrase be a part of your everyday life. And if you're not so certain in which way to go, which decision to make on a daily basis with friends and co-workers, ask, say, if I am found in favor, can I say this after I took this course of action? Ask that question. And if you say, oh, no, if I do this, I can't go before God, I can't go before my bosses. If I am found in favor, then go this way. Sometimes the result doesn't come split seconds, but God is God of promise. God is God of a promise. The Bible is all about the promise. It may come a few years later, but so what? When it comes a few years later, it's double and triple in the portion of what you get. If you get it right away, it's like, something, If you lose one, maybe you get one. If you lose one, maybe you get a two. If the longer God answers that promise, it's huge. It's huge. To summarize, if you're ever asking why your life is not going well for you, it's most often because there's something missing. I'm not saying, and God is not saying that you're not worthy, you are worthy. I'm not saying, He's not saying, I don't love you. He loves you regardless. He loves unconditionally. That's different than being found favor. Totally different. And if you are found and you're drowning, He will rescue you regardless. That's what God promised. But whether your life, doing life, is going well or not, depends on whether you're found favor in God's eyesight. So as we celebrate the birth of Jesus this season, we know He came to give us hope, new start, a new beginning. But He came so that we can do life with Him. And there is no life if anybody, in any relationship, and you try to make a name for yourselves. In other words, when you try to boast about yourself, when you try to tell God, this is my plan, there is no life together. It really isn't. So in Psalm 27:8, my heart says of you, seek His face. Your face, Lord, I will seek. Psalm 105:4, look to the Lord in His strength. Seek His face always. Seeking God's face is seeking His favor. Let us pray. Father God, we thank you and thank you and thank you. Father, if we are found favor in your eyesight, may you continue to show us the way. May you continue to show us the new plan, new way for 2016. And if you're found favor in your sight, may you abundantly bless us.